Evening, everyone. It's 5:30, and it is your closing comment for Monday, the 14th of June. It is video number 809, and I again remind you, if you like the work, it takes some doing. Just hit that subscribe button to help support us. Okay, so today was a really weird kind of day. We had markets going in opposite directions the whole day, and at the close, the Dow rallied a bit. It had been down 260, closed down only 85, or 0.25%. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, as well as the S&P, were up most of the day and had new all-time closing highs, with the NASDAQ up 104, or 0.75%, and the S&P up 771, or 0.2%. We had the small cap Russell down 966. It had been down substantially more, down 0.4%. And the biggest loser was the Dow Jones Transports, yet again, down 133.18, or 0.85%. That was the biggest loser. During the day, we had the Dow with only 2 or 3 stocks up. It actually finished with 9 stocks up and 21 of them down. And the biggest gainer was CRM, Salesforce. And as far as all of my sectors go, that was the only solidly up sector, work from home, with Zoom and Teledoc and DocuSign, etc. Okay, so we had a couple of new names come up. One of them was Petco, symbol is WOOF, WOOF, and this one was an IPO in January, and it ended up on the Reddit list, since it has about a 36% short interest, and the stock, which closed 23.80, was as high as 29.55, as low as 22.75. The last 28.70, up 4.94, or 20%. Volume was well over 40 million shares, and that was the biggest day since that IPO, when it traded 52 million shares. We also had another one that was discussed on Reddit over the weekend, Corsair Gaming. It had closed 32.36 on Friday and had a low today of 35.65 and a high of 42.97. It actually closed pretty close to the low, 30 cents off the low, but it was still up 363, or 11.2%. As far as news, we had Lordstown, which is RIDE. Lordstown CEO and CFO are being replaced. That stock has been down for the last week or so on the news that they don't have enough money, they don't have any production, they don't have enough money to get into production. And even if they got that money, production would be roughly 50% of what was already discussed. So the stock had a range today of 985 to 891. Last was 930, so about mid-range, but down $2.11, or 18%. Also in the news, we had RAPT, RAPT. RAPT is a biotech therapeutic. They had positive trials for a product for atopic dermatitis, and the stock had closed at 18.57, had a high today of 50, so well over 100% up at the high, 200% up at the high, a low of 27.48, a low of 27. The last was 48.30, up 29.63, or 162%. And late in the day, they decided that they were going to tap a shelf offering that was that had gone effective back in November for $129 million worth of stock. And this is one that the stock stayed up. I'm guessing because everybody knew that it was coming, and the dilution is dramatically less at 48 than it is at 18. Another one, ENOB, another HIV drug, had an um, FDA pre-IND approval, and it had closed at $12.99. Was pardon me, not $12.99. 1 second, let me just make sure that I have this number right because it doesn't look right. Okay, the stock closed yesterday at 441. I knew that was wrong. Got as high today as $12.99, and after the close or late in the day, they came out and said that they were going to do a $29 million direct offering at 7.5 with some funds. They, in fact, did that, and the stock closed 690. So even though it was well off the high, 690 was up 249 or 55%. So a pretty decent day all around. As far as the chart on the screen, this is the oil. It again was higher during the day, but closed actually down on the day and on the low of the day. Heating oil was also down. Gas was down. Gasoline was down. Nat gas, on the other hand, was up over a nickel. So that was the strength. In the gold, we started to the downside hard this morning. We were down as much as about $30. We rallied back to close about mid-range, but still down on the day. We hit the 200-day moving average, which is what I said this morning. We would find support in that 1845 area. The low was actually 1845.70, and we closed at 1865.90, so about 2/3 up on the range after bouncing off that moving average. We do have a crossover here of the 5 going through the 20, so we'll have to see if we get any sideways or a bounce right back up. Bitcoin had a really interesting day today. It traded as high as 41,000 and change, and that was a major move for it. At that point, it was up about just under 4,000. It finished the day mid-range, still up on the day, but well off the high. And the close here was up 23.85. I'm still kind of concerned with this. As I said in this morning's comment and in yesterday's charts with comments in the letter, this is technically a higher low and a move to the upside. What we have to do is we have to close above this 40,320, and we failed to do that today, so we'll see if we get that tomorrow. The dollar was down about 4 cents, and interest rates were slightly higher, with the bonds down about 5/8 of a point. All right, everyone, there you go. I'll be back first thing in the morning, and tomorrow we have retail sales, PPI, industrial production, and capacity utilization. Oh, and by the way, lumber limit down again, 996.20. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning. Have a good evening, and don't forget to subscribe.